Trying out this new phone here. I'm gonna send it back because it's a Z Fold 4 and it doesn't fold flat all the way. I got a refurbished phone. Anyway, I'm gonna try this going live. I'm not gonna edit it because I'm not gonna have the time or the bandwidth to do that. So the only way I'm really gonna be able to get in right now is if I just go live. So I want to get some of this information out. Don't have a microphone. Maybe I'll catch somebody. I just want to break down some current events and epiphanies that I've had that I should talk about current events rather, and just like premonitions, epiphanies that I had that were kind of like correlated to a lot of current events. It's crazy. So, just thinking about time, and I'm going to get into some things that are going on right now. Like the most recent thing we saw was the immigrant who burnt the lady alive on the subway. And so when we see these symbols that are constantly in our face in current events, and I don't really understand. I'm not going to say that I understand the majesticness of like the magical world we live in. All I can say is that I pick up on things and symbols, and I just have like a gift of seeing things from different angles. But like my whole thing is like I have been able to see things like kind of through my third eye, and I guess what people would say is clairvoyant, I guess, but not always. Like sometimes I pick up on things. That's all I'm saying. So a lot of the artwork I put down is kind of like channeling, and sometimes I won't even realize what was flowing through my mind, and then I'll see it, and it hits me like damn from another angle. But anyway, so I want to get into this right here. We're talking about I had this epiphany about Oppenheimer relating to the nuclear threats. And what up, Raphael Trujillo? Merry Christmas, anybody who's checking this. So talking about nuclear, I recently came across Akabeka in Midnight Reggae. I've heard some of his tracks, but I've been addicted to Akabeka recently, and I know he had this ability to like decode. In some of the talks he said, he actually said some things that I said. One epiphany I had dealing with the trapezoid had to do with the dimension shift and the reflective fish of the mirror. And I was thinking about circuitry, right? So we got the circle, square, and triangle circuitry, and like the coil of energy, right? So sometimes I see things relating to numbers and sounds and symbols, and they speak to me. And like the way I kind of see it is with the two crosses also representing the number symbol. So Akabeka talks about how words have this way of squaring off, and he goes into like the back and forth of this word goes this way and that way. So what I get into is a lot like the frequency. What I want to tap into on this one right here. So we know abierto is open in Spanish. So what I was getting into with Oppenheimer
we know that he was the person who came up with the nuclear bomb, right? So when we look at Oppenheimer, I look at these characters like in our reality, also as symbolic as well too, and how names also have frequencies. So we look at Oppenheimer, we can also see the T, the H split is also the T, so we can see like timer, right? So what I'm getting into is how we see rhyme right there, okay? So that's gonna tap into this epiphany I had here too, dealing with time travel. So we know that the GE, just like the General Electric symbol, we could also see that like the tree of good and evil. That's at the center of the knot of Solomon. So I'm going to dive into some other symbols too, like in music, how we get into the top 10. And we also have that open and that same symbol with the two crosses. And then also how we can look at certain symbols, like how Mike can also be written in cursive together, and we can see mince. I'm going to touch on that one. If I get too much into this also gets into colors and some other things I'm going to touch on in the future for people that haven't seen my What It Is Insta. So now we know that Napoleon went to the pyramid, right? And he said at the center, they talk about the frequencies inside the pyramid. So one thing I want to talk about is the mirror. I just started scribbling some stuff about the American dream. And we know that Candyman appeared in the mirror, right? So what I'm getting into is the mirror, the reflection of the mirror is the Z. It has a Z flip. So I'm getting into symbols. Oh man. So when we see pyramid, what I'm getting into is this symbol of the B, which is also 2, which is watt, which is movement. And it can also be viewed as the sword of the stone, also phosphorus. This gets into a whole lot of stuff. So now when we're able to decode like this and see from different angles, not just front and back, we can also see some other things. So I was writing here, it's pause symbol. We also see pause zimbal, ents, just we can see as the cane or the ankh. It's said that the first instrument was the drum, just dealing like the beats of the heart. So when we look at drum, when we say spectrum, we're also saying speak drum. So also dealing with vibration. So I'm just showing here how rib, showing like that rib from Adam and Eve. This is just a breakdown where we can view that the 29, where we can see that vibration with the 2 and the 9. Where we also see the 11, 2 and 9 is 11, which is the pause symbol. pause imbalance. We're also dealing with, which can be viewed as Yakin and Boaz, or possibly the Space Brothers, because we could also see space. So there was this movie, Conan the Barbarian, where we see the castle, and the castle is kind of like this, where we can also see like the yellow brick road where he goes away on the hot air balloon. If we see that upside down, we can kind of see the question mark, like the Joker. There's a lot of symbols there, but also we could see that circuitry, and then we could also see that as the cobra. So these are some symbols that came to me that I wrote down. But dealing with Jesus coming down from heaven. I'm just talking about how pictures develop in the dark. So what I want to touch base on, I'm gonna have to erase this. I see people keep coming in and going on my channel. Thanks for checking this. This is some high level information. So honestly, I'm kind of more introverted right now. I'm not really in a social mood, but this is just me putting this down. I don't know if you can see that from here. So I'm going a little scrambled here with this because there's a lot in these images. But I'm going to erase this. There's a couple things I want to break down before I erase this, because I'm going to revisit some of the things I wrote down here. All right, let me erase this and get to my next point. When I get to the point of editing this with my notes, there's a lot of stuff I'm saving. I don't want to just spit out all the stuff that's been getting me. Like some of these epiphanies, I'm like holy shit, I can't believe like some of the stuff I see and the things that actually happen. If I'm seeing that correctly. So the next thing we got right now, we got the Mangione thing going on, right? So like Trump, the whole thing about McDonald's, Kamala never working at McDonald's, and then saying, and then Trump working at McDonald's, right? This whole McDonald's shit, and then we got RFK, and they're showing pictures of him on an airplane holding McDonald's, right? And then this guy gets caught at McDonald's in Pennsylvania, right? So we know that Trump was working at McDonald's in Pennsylvania. So this isn't like some conspiracy or raising any kind of, this is just analytical thought, right? For anybody that can see like correlations, syncretism happening. Okay, so, man. I got a picture of that. So we see his middle name is Nicholas, right? These are things, current events that are happening in December. So then we see this guy Sebastian Zepeda. He has Santa in his name. And then we see the train. The train is F, the F train, right? Like we see like the fire, the symbol for a fire extinguisher with that arrow. I definitely need to get back to this. Yeah, I lost whoever was watching, but anyway.
some of these epiphanies are so like, holy shit. So we know when we're talking about movement in the military, when we march, we always march to a cadence. So the correlation I see is with the programming. It's also known as Pavlovian, how to get people, or what we know as sheep herding, to certain whistle sounds or whatever, certain cadences, certain rhythms, get people going in certain directions, right? So right now, the other thing we got going on is the satellites. Right before Elon Musk steps in. So Elon Musk, now when I showed how you flip the B, the P, and the D, depending if it's uppercase or lowercase, when you look at certain names, you can look at Mark Zuckerberg and we can see Marduk. Because the lowercase d you can look as a D from a different angle, right? So we can see Marduk. And then when we look at Elon Musk, we also see King Solomon. We can say King Solomon. It spells out name. The detailed cars is taking me like an hour to clean this board, but it'll be worth it here. If anybody comes back to my channel. I'm sure I'm losing a lot of people, but it's cool. If I get more people to tune in and show that people are gripping when I'm throwing down, I'll definitely get back here. But I'm trying to collab with Third Eye Minds and see who picks up shit. It's purely organic here. Bloopers and all. Okay, let's go. All right, big ups whoever liked this. If you liked my video, then you dashed on me. But yo, if you check this back, I'm definitely gonna re-up on this information. But let's see if I can do it this way. So this is like spontaneous. Just me jumping in on the slide. I didn't really have anything planned here. I just got a lot to talk about. I got a real lot to talk about. I've been having a lot of fucking epiphanies. Excuse my language, I'm tired. Here we go. So we look at time travel, right? When we look at time travel, I'm just going to go with some of these notes here. Right, so we look at time travel. You know we're dealing with the devil and Jesus are the two crosses, right? Let's see this. I'm gonna see if I can find my erasing marker here. Because honestly, a lot of these, I might just sit down and talk for a minute. A lot of these epiphanies I have are super deep. Like it's hard to just scratch the surface on, which I'm doing right now. Because I want to go a little bit more in depth on these. Because they've taken on a lot of meaning for me here that I'd like to put down here. When I get back, I'm gonna throw together some of my notes. Is anybody checking this? All right. So anyway, I'm losing steam. I lost my viewers. I had a few viewers on, but let's continue here. A couple more things. Getting into the Fibonacci. I think the main point that I want to get onto is decoding a lot of these current events, though, because I got a lot of notes having to do with the current events. That's why I don't really want to do this half-ass on the live stream, because when I put this down, people will be like, holy shit. And I just show like these images on these current events. But touching base on the Mangione thing that's huge right now. The symbols I see with McDonald's. Also, my take on what's going on with these satellites in the air and everything, having to do with Elon Musk. And then that's pretty much just a precursor for some stuff I got going on right now. There's a lot more to talk about in relation to these symbols and how these came to me, but also dealing with like all the epiphanies I've been having about the fire extinguisher and things like that, and then seeing this in the headlines makes me want to play around with kind of these epiphanies and premonitions I have, trying to connect the dots on finding meaning in what speaks. 'Cause honestly, it's like so weird for me how sometimes like things just hit me. I'll say something without knowing, and then boom, it's like, whoop, there it is. So I'm trying to figure out, just how to use my skill set in decoding this reality. But I've come across some pretty awesome things, and I want to share it to anybody who's got like a third eye mind that can see the shit I'm throwing down. Anyway, this is a quick live stream. I haven't been here in a minute, hoping I can catch some viewers. All right, I'll get back on with my notes, and then I'm going to start connecting the dots to some of these symbols.